Thing still.
You got it. We're throwing together that bad boy right now. Let's get to it. Welcome everybody back to the channel. It is Brendan here at Just Plain Crazy, and guess what time it is? It's time to put together your F18 Hornet from HobbyKing. So this little rip snorter that you're going to keep in the car with you every day of your life, it's time to put it together. We are going to assemble all of these big monstrous pieces and using some foam tack. What else do we need? Oh, here it is. We need this thing. Let's get to it. All right, guys, assembly time of our F18 Hornet. So where are we going to start? Well, let's start by making a little bit of room here off to the side. So again, beacon foam glue, foam tack is what it is. Get our pieces out of the way and we'll start with our fuse, gluing as we go. So, step number one, let's go ahead and just glue on our nose cone. We're going to start simple. Now, everywhere I do this, gluing pieces together, it is going to be vitally important. I've seen a lot of foam models crash because people just simply don't scrape paint. You can't glue things to paint. So, we're going to take a little bit of our foam tack, and there's a little crease right there. A couple dabs of that stuff. Line up my little indentation and crease. Put it on there, give a little twist. It's always good to bring it off for a little bit. A couple seconds. Stick that back on there. We have to take this paint here off the edge because we need to glue them in place there and there. So roughen up that foam, make sure we get the paint off. I've seen a lot of crashes because of it. People, you can't glue stuff to paint. So let's go ahead and just scrape away. All right, guys, scraped versus not scraped. All right, let's get our foam tack put in our spots. Make sure you put your horns face down. We're going to shove all these bad boys in the right spot. Take them out and give them a second to dry or to start to tack up. All right, now while that's drying, let's go ahead and talk about the wings. Now guys, it looks like these wings, you can see I went ahead and already roughed up the tabs. There's magnets here on the side to help hold those into place. And although I'm going to rely on the magnets, the other thing that I'm going to do is I am going to glue in on these little tabs, but I'm not going to glue the whole thing. So I'll have the tabs, the spar, and the magnets to help hold this in. So a little bit of glue on there for security. If you want to be popping these things on and off, that's fine. I don't want to. I don't think that I'm ever going to take a jet this small apart to go anywhere with it to make it any smaller. So I don't think there's an advantage to that. I'd rather have that security. So we're going to get our carbon rod. We're going to stuff that through there. We're going to take a small piece of tape, not much, and put on this connector. Again, we shaved off our tabs. We're just going to align up brown to brown, brown to brown. Make sure we got a nice positive lock. Then we're going to put some tape around that connector, nice and tight, so that won't come loose. A little bit of foam tack in our tabs. Perfect. And now let's go ahead and feed in our connector. We're just going to push this whole thing right inside the fuselage. Perfect, that's together. A little bit of glue on our other one to rough up this foam a little bit. Small piece of tape for our connector. I slide it over to carbon tube. Let's get her plugged in. Just being careful with that wire so we don't pinch it. All right, guys, now we're going to throw on our supports for our horizontals. Those things actually go right up here towards the back, right at the very edge. So I am just going to kind of just scribe a little bit of mark here. Again, we'll take some of that paint away. All right, guys, let's, what do you say we get our linkage put in? Now we're going to go ahead and actually give you even some nice little Tygon tubing over the top of these. So ideally, I guess you should put your receiver in first and power this thing on and then set them up. But we're just going to put them in here loosely. They're just S-bend connectors. And because I like throw, we're going to go to the furthest hole out. All right, we have our receiver bound up. Now let's go ahead and set all of our surfaces to neutral. I did notice that with these rods, we do have to screw them in a good bit. They are not preset. Not a big deal. All right, so let me show you guys how I have things set up. Now, I could have gone with a much smaller receiver, but this is all I have at the moment. So a couple things. You only have signal wires for your controls for elevator, throttle, and aileron. So they are marked, so they just go into the signal ports. So we have our throttle, our aileron, our elevator, and 4 in this case is rudder. And I did just plug that in, even though we don't have rudder, because that's still just a backup power feed, okay? The other wire here, the S mode, is going into channel or port 5, and I have that set up on a switch. So that will communicate all of my signals over to the gyro on the inside. So how we set this up in the Jeti, let's try and get so it's not glared here. We're going to go into our model and servo setup, and I am going to go into where I established port 5, and you'll see I have 3 settings. So this is stability, or gyro off.
Gyroscope stability low.
That's low, which is going to be for your Spectrum users like AS3X.
Heading lock.
And that's your heading lock. All right, so
gyroscope
make
off.
sure you always with a gyro have an off setting. That's going to be a negative 100% in this case. And if we take the plane and we shake it, nothing happens. Now, we're going to come over here and go to
gyroscope stability low.
Now, this gives us our AS3X. It's kind of hard to figure out if we know which way it's going. But now if we go into, and that's at 0.
Heading lock.
Positive 100. Now you can see what happens as I roll left. It gives it right aileron. As I roll right, I hold left aileron. If I go nose down, it wants to change the pitch and bring it up. When I go this way, it's giving it down elevator. So now we know that our gyro is set up. I have 3 different settings to work with, plus I can dial it more or less depending on how I want it. Let's get that receiver tucked in. I hope that helps you guys. For the balance point, I am right about here for balance, and that's where I have this 1000 milliamp hour graphene, so kind of towards the edge of that sticker, but I'm using the balance from here straight across, so I'm almost like right here at these points, if that helps you. Let's get this baby outside. We're all done with this build. And there you have it, guys. That was the build of the 50mm F18 Hornet, roughly 23 inches in size, from HobbyKing. Link down in the description below. If you're interested in this or any of the other awesome line that they have, go over and check them out at www.hobbyking.com. Also, again, link down in the description below. With that being said, it is Brendan here at Just Plain Crazy. You guys are just plain crazy for watching. Do me a favor, check me out over on the official Facebook and Instagram Just Plain Crazy pages. With that being said, like, share, subscribe, all that cool shameless plug stuff. Smash that notification bell so you see all of our content as soon as it comes out. With that being said, we're getting this thing out of the lair. We're heading outside. It's time to go do a maiden. I wish you guys happy flights. Peace out.